let's kick this one off. First thing you need to worry about is your workflow, which you're going to have to kind of use your space to figure out what works for you. In my garage, everything being over here works great because I got my door just a little bit here, and if I have vehicles pulled in, whatever, leaves this space almost always free. So I can take things apart, and if I need to, the first step, I can unpress any bearings, anything I need out of the way, make it nice and easy. Then I can bring it over to my parts washer, scrub it clean, get it nice and good. Then after that, everything can go in the blast cabinet, and I almost religiously blast everything after the parts clean, which is just filled full of baking soda. That way I can clean delicate parts, this and that. So I can just go right in. Makes it easy. After everything's blasted and cleaned up nice and good, I'll generally bring it over this little ultrasonic cleaner. Keep it full of Dawn dish soap and hot water. That gets rid of any baking soda residue and any oils, anything that's left over. Have a nice clean part to work with. And then from there, well, I'm not fully organized, but there's a couple places it could go. It could be reinstalled, it could be painted, could be modified, but that's the first thing important, is just getting that basic workflow going. Next tip and all that, keep like things organized with like things. What do I mean by that? Well, I finally got my toolbox somewhat compacted and all that, and out of the way, but we want to keep things that we'll use together. So, I keep all my sockets and other things up in this top drawer, which you can see. The only thing that's out of place a little bit is this breaker bar, but it won't fit in. Same with my 3/4 breaker bar I have hanging up over there, because that for sure is not fitting over here. But in this toolbox, I keep torque wrenches, ratchets, extensions, and adapters. This one here, I have all my Allen wrenches. I have flathead screwdrivers in this tray, Phillips down here, and I keep all my specialty wrenches over there. This one here is all my regular wrenches, which I keep my adjustables up front. And this, I have my flex head wrenches all together and organized. I actually have these little wrench organizers that I just got, which let me tell you, love it. Because right in here, which hopefully you can see, but I have all my wrenches for my regular ratcheted wrenches all organized. I have my metrics here and my standards over here. I keep my bigger wrenches towards the back that don't fit anything. Over here I have a couple duplicates and other sizes. And here I just have random wrenches, which is offsets other things. Down in this drawer, I got this one actually really organized, and I really like the way this works. Because I got fin straightener, because a lot of times radiators, condensers, and even air conditioners, the fins get bent up over time and all that. I can just come in, grab this, straighten them out. Keep all my fuel line disconnects in this tray. Unfortunately, my hose clamp pliers don't fit in the tray, but they sit on top. I can still see everything in this box, which is what I need. I keep my chisels right here. I actually have a specialty wrench for whiff sensors and all that, because I have a Duramax, and it makes it a lot easier, trust me. Keep my hose picks there. I have a regular set of pliers under there. All my snap ring pliers are right here. The electrical pliers, vice grips. I have the electrical tester there. And this here, this is my specialty drawer, which is pretty much for a lot of engine work. So I keep vacuum gauge, compression checker, and all that. Fuel PSI gauge right here. Keep my valve lapper, carb tuner, piston ring filer. I have my degree wheel, cylinder hone, crankshaft socket, valve train stuff, all that right here, which makes it nice and easy. Down at the bottom, I keep a good bit of my pneumatic tools, which you can't see them all because it's a little cluttered. I'm not fully sure where to put some of this stuff yet, but I'm slowly figuring it out. Because unfortunately, my big polisher, it's kind of in the way. But I keep all my hammers here and other bigger tools in this little drawer, which let me tell you, reusing this thing saves a good bit instead of having to worry about getting another tool chest, having space. This little guy, perfect for my needs. In here, I keep all my measuring tools, any marking tools. I know right where to go. This one here, I keep everything, whether for drilling, bolt extraction, hole cleanup, or marking and all that, right here. That way, if I'm using my drill press, everything's right here in this drawer. I need drill bit, like installing stuff around the garage, the house, right here and there. And these two drawers, I just keep full of miscellaneous safety stuff, like extra gloves, all that, blah, blah, blah. And let me tell you, one big thing to help, these trays. I didn't think they'd do as much for organization as I was thinking, but they actually went above and beyond, because I can keep a lot of things organized and separated and in these trays. So when I open this box and all that, I know, hey, Allen wrenches in this tray, screwdrivers in this one, as long as they're flat. Same thing with this drawer. All my vice grips there, snap ring pliers there, hose picks here. So that brings us to number 3. 1, 2, 3, you're out. And what do I mean by that? Extension cords, hoses, get rid of them and get them off the ground. One thing, having a retractable ceiling mounted extension cord is great. Especially because that gets rid of trip hazards, makes it more convenient and everything else. I think I paid 30 bucks off Amazon for this specific one, and it reaches around my whole garage. I no longer have to have the cords lying on the ground out of the way, and makes cleanup super fast and easy. All I gotta do is just give it a little tug and boop, it coils itself up and out of the way, instead of having that extension cord that's a pain, and then you gotta figure out where to store it. Here you can see I'm just showing the install quick of this retractable extension cord. All I did was just mark the holes out for the bracket, pre-drill the holes. There's 2 screws included to mount the bracket, which you can see just drove them right in right here. Nice and easy. Then after this, there's really not much more to do. You just get the retractable extension hose and slide this pin in. And there's a cotter pin that'll slide on the back side to keep it locked, but this allows it to pivot and swivel. And I'm just plugging it into my light over here because that's the closest extension cord I got. So here's just a quick before and after type of deal to show you. You can see the cords on the ground, easy trip hazard. And now it is out of the way, that walkway is free and clear, and guess what? Super easy to clean that up when I'm all said and done with my little heater there. And number 4, if it's garbage, get rid of it. I've accumulated a lot of junk and a lot of boxes for some reason, but that's probably because I get a lot of things shipped here. But all this just takes up space, and this is just from one half of my garage. All the garbage and junk I don't use. So, time to get rid of it and make space. You got leftover parts from the project, any of that, sell it. I've been selling a lot of my leftover parts and tools. And let me tell you, it's made a big difference in how much room I've had in my shop and, you know, put a little bit of money back in my pocket. And that brings me on to my final tip. Keep projects to a minimum. You can see I'm standing in front of a 6-liter block, and it's currently in the middle of being rebuilt. Yes, I do have the bike here, but that's kind of been one of those off projects. This here is for the Trailblazer and all that, and I'm really excited to share it with you guys. But you can't put the cart before the horse. So right now, I'm getting this motor rebuilt, built up before I bring the Trailblazer in and start tearing it apart. Just wouldn't make sense for shop space if I brought Trailblazer in while working on this, tearing that out and ripping the old motor out. And trust me, it saves a lot of space when you just take one step at a time and you don't rush things. Now, being that's the end of the video, there's a few things I kind of want to share, which hopefully you got anything, or you want to see what's going on in the future, subscribe, maybe like the video. But I also have a build I'm going to do, a quiet box for that air compressor. Got a few other shop things, which we're going to get a hose reel and all that for that. But I'm more excited for the Trailblazer build because I don't want to spoil too much right off the bat. But even though this is going to be mostly kind of a stock rebuild, it's not. It's going to have a little bit to it. And it won't be a super sport, but my 2003 Trailblazer EXT is going to have a little bit more oomph behind her. So, if you want to see that, consider subscribing. That way you're notified whenever I get around to posting those videos.